So today I'm looking at a new interpretation of the old phrase, the good die young. And I'm not talking about a literal death. I'm talking about the death of the authentic self. This is a whole new concept that you might not have ever looked at in this way before. So before I jump into that, for those of you who are new to my channel, I'm Ketra Thompson and I'm a certified master hypnotist. And I'm also a relational recovery coach. So what I do is I help my clients reframe things on a subconscious level that have been holding them back and keeping them from having the love that they want and the life that they want, and letting go of old behaviors, thoughts, and patterns that really aren't serving them. So if you want to find out more about how to work with me and what this is all about, there's a link in the description below where you can check out my website, you can download a free relaxation hypnosis recording, and you can also set up a completely free complimentary consultation call so that we can get into what's going on with you. You can ask all the questions that you have and get some real clarity about what's going on and see if we're a good fit to work together. So before I jump in, I also want to remind you, if this content resonates with you, please consider hitting the like button, click subscribe so you can be notified every time I post a new video. So what am I talking about when I say a new interpretation of the good die young? Okay, so here it is. When we're trying to be good, when we're trying to be what everyone else wants us to be, and we have this definition of good, it means that we are denying our wants and needs. It means that other people's wants and needs have been ranked above our own. Now, it's not a bad thing to want to be good in certain ways and to honor our responsibilities in life, right? Those aren't bad things. But when we're being good at the expense of being authentic, there's a part of us inside that dies. Now, a lot of this starts with subconscious programming from our childhood. Now, I've said it before, but it's worth repeating. Our subconscious mind is running 95% or more of everything we think, feel, and do. And it's primarily programmed by the time we're 5 or 6. And then there are certainly things that happen in our adult life that contribute to that programming. But it's really running our behavior. And so when we look back on our lives, sometimes this pattern of becoming the good person, the good girl, the good guy, all starts when we are younger and maybe we don't have the approval from our parents that we want. Maybe we don't have the acceptance. Maybe they're not giving us the time we need. Maybe they're not helping us understand the world around us and we feel neglected. Or maybe there's some bigger things, like maybe our parents got divorced. Maybe one parent was never there to begin with. Maybe one of our parents died. So when all of that happens, we end up growing up way too fast. We believe that we have to sometimes manage the emotions of our parents around us. Sometimes we believe that our performance is the only thing that gets us the praise that we want and need so that we can feel good about ourselves. So we get into this mode where we become people pleasers and we create an image of what is good. And at the end of the day, we're really trying to extract from other people the acceptance and the approval that we so desperately want and need. Now, this can lead into some other things later in life. It can lead into toxic relationships that just make this issue worse, where we're constantly trying to manage someone else's emotions and reactions, and so we shrink back and we become smaller in ourselves. We don't express our thoughts, our opinions, our wants, our needs. We're not sharing vulnerably, and it's because when we have tried in the past, we get a negative response, and so we try to be good, try to manage other people's emotions, and we try to do everything that the other person would want from us so we can avoid the rejection. So this can become a pattern. It can also play out in other ways. Let's say you don't think you're lovable unless you weigh a certain amount, you look a certain way, you have a certain job, you make a certain income, you've bought a certain car, whatever it is. If you've got this set of rules that I'm not lovable or good enough until I have these things, then we're gonna play the good girl, the good guy role as much as we can so that we can really have the connection and love that we want. At the end of the day, all of those things boil down to our most important need as a human being, and that's deep, authentic connection with others. So if we're playing the good part, we're dying on the inside. So we really are dying young. We're shutting down that part of ourselves that is true and authentic. So the truth is, you're creating a slow death inside of you. We think about death as being this thing at the end of our life, but so many people are actually living a life where they're already dead. They're dead inside because they're denying themselves happiness, connection, because they've got this laundry list of things that have to be accomplished before they're allowed to feel good. It's like the little kid that gets home and has a list of chores before they're allowed to go play. Right? That's not the way life's meant to be. And when we're always striving to get to the next goal, we miss out on now. We're missing out on the reality of the fact that we only have now. We only have the present moment. And whatever we're striving for in life, they're not necessarily bad things, but if we can't have fun while we're in the now and we're striving toward the goals that we want to achieve, then we're missing out on life. And when we're limiting ourselves to not being able to be authentic and have the connections and have the love in our life that we want until we meet a certain goal or until we weigh a certain weight or until we make a certain income, then we're playing the good part, the good girl, the good guy, and we're not being authentic to ourselves and we're dying. Every time we're denying our needs and wants, we're dying inside. And I want to make a very clear distinction here. People talk about wants and needs as if it's okay to have needs like food and shelter, but that it's not okay to have wants or desires. And it's just not true. They're equally important because we're not these flat one-dimensional beings that just need to have food and shelter. We need depth and dimension in our life, and that's where our wants and desires come into play. So ignoring those wants and those desires is a big deal. You need to prioritize those things so that you can have a full life. You can have a life that's actually fulfilling. And there's so many things that feed into having a fulfilling life. So I always encourage my clients to get in touch with their wants and desires, because if needs is those things that you go, well, I don't need anything. I have food. I have a house, I'm safe. Well, let's translate that into wants and desires, because we have wants and desires. And if we're honest with ourselves, oftentimes those wants and desires are around connection. We really could have used more support maybe in the day. We could have used a hug. We could have used someone to talk something out with. We could have used someone to laugh with, right? These are all good things. So we don't want to ignore our wants and our desires. We want to prioritize them right up there with our needs. So the key to this, to remedying the good girl, good guy, dying inside of yourself while you're playing pretend with the rest of the world facade, if you want to remedy that, there's a couple things that you need to do. And the first thing is you need to start having fun. And I mean this. You didn't have to learn how to have fun. As a child, no one had to teach you how to play. No one had to show you how to have fun. You just knew. You just did it. You went outside and you ran around. You played with your friends. You made things up. You had a vivid imagination. One of the key things to who we really are on the inside, our authenticity, is our ability to play and to have fun. That's who you are. That is more the authentic you than the you that's having this laundry list of things that has to be accomplished before you can be loved. So the first thing you can do is actively cultivate having fun. Start playing, start being silly, dance around the kitchen, play happy music. I do it every day. I turn on really happy music every morning to start my day. I dance around in the shower, I dance around in the kitchen when I'm making my breakfast, and I start my day off with the mentality of I am having fun, and it makes a huge difference. So the first thing I would challenge you to do is start having fun. Start thinking about creative ways to step out of your norm. Get out of the rut. Stop doing the things you always do and try doing something new so you can cultivate that fun. And then the second thing that you can do that has a deeply profound effect on how you view yourself and the way you have this performance that you're living out in your life, right? Helping you get back to the authentic you is doing the subconscious work. You can learn all these things, you can watch these videos, you can read the self-help books, and you can get a lot of head knowledge, and you can get some really good advice. However, getting that knowledge into your subconscious mind is a whole different thing. I had a client not too long ago that had been in regular talk therapy for almost 7 years. She had gone every week for her extreme anxiety until finally her therapist recommended she go get hypnosis. And it's because she'd learned all the things, she knew all the information, but she didn't feel any different on the inside. And so when we worked together, we did the inner work of reframing these belief systems that were keeping these negative feelings there, keeping her held back, and really like causing her to die on the inside. Reframed them on a subconscious level so she could move forward with a new belief system that was actually more accurate than the one she had there before. Because remember, I said the subconscious mind is driving over 95% of everything you think, feel, and do. And it's guarded tightly. So if you don't have access to it, then you're not going to make those shifts very easily. You're going to have a lot of resistance, and it's going to feel harder than it really has to be. So doing the subconscious work can help you be free. It can help you embrace the real you, step into the world as the real you that no longer has to manage other people's emotions, that no longer decides that other people's assumptions and criticisms of them define them, that no longer feels like this people pleaser. Because being good isn't the goal in life. Being free is the goal. Being happy, being connected to amazing people. This isn't about the good girl or good guy mentality that you built as a kid. It's time to let that go. It's not serving you. And doing the subconscious work is the most rapid way for you to accomplish that. So if you want to learn more about that, again, there's that link in the description below. But the first thing you can do today is start having fun. That's going to help break down some of these barriers that you've built up, creating all these rules in your life so you can let go. And when you can start to let go, you can also start releasing the shame that's keeping you stuck. So until next time, I hope you curate a life by your own design and stop living in this rut of what you think you need to be or what you think you need to do, and start living authentically.